Hey folks, good buddy creedmoorfury coming to you from east of Eden Grower's Place, his happy place right here in his back to Eden Garden, Piedmont, North Carolina. Join me today for today's episode. I'm going to teach you something different, something new, and hopefully something that's going to do you lots of good. Look at this stuff. It's rocks. Just thought I might show y'all something interesting about how, we break down our old pots that we're growing high value crops in. And this came out of a 7-gallon air pot. It was layer 1 that sat right at the base inside the pot. There's the overflow basin flipped over, sidewall and bottom to the air pot. Okay, so the roots start here and they grow all the way down to the bottom. Then they grow through the bottom of it and they grow into the rocks that you saw before. This is that soil. It's super fine, fully organic. There's no dirt in this. I'm about to regenerate it. It's going to go back into my soil mixing machine. It's a super sophisticated soil mixing machine. It's a Harbor Freight soil mixer. Now, don't go into Harbor Freight asking for a soil mixer. This is a cement mixer. If it still had its logo on it, you could see it right there. It says machinery cement mixer. There's the proof, right? I mix soils in it because it has these 2 internal paddles. Oh, look at that. Crop waste. Let's see if I can pull some crop waste out. Okay. Yeah, that's my crop waste. Okay. If your plants aren't growing all the way to the bottom of your pots and then out of the bottom of your pots, well, they're probably not doing that well. Bigger roots equals bigger fruits. Bigger trunk equals bigger junk. Anyway, it's going in there. I'm going to take that soil that recently grew this, and I'm going to put it inside here. I'm going to put some of the soil that's inside this black container in it too, because we've been working on this soil for a long time, and it's VHQ. Y'all know what VHQ is? No, it's not where you go watch videos. VHQ is very high quality. The reason that we consider it to be very high quality is because of the performance. There's the little screws that hold the air pots together. Probably should put them down so I don't lose them, right? I can stick them in there. Easy to see against the white background. Anyway, so this is soil that came from other successful grows. Other highly productive, high yield, high value plant grows. Y'all hear what I'm telling you? I don't want to throw it out. I want to recycle it. When I feed those plants that are in the cycle, I'm giving them compost tea and water. Drips out the bottom. When you get it right, drips out the bottom into these overflow basins. I take that liquid exudate. I inspect it under the microscope. When I find significant value of functional life here, I return that life back to the soils. So I can either put it back in the top of the pot so it cycles its way back down to the bottom, or periodically I can bring it out here and enter it into here. And then when a day comes around like today, or it's a little cloudy and I don't have a lot going on, I join these soils up. The hope is to get this whole entire 65-gallon drum filled before I need to use it again. Anyway, y'all don't want to watch me mixing on the cement mixer. All I'm going to do is take part A and part B and put it into this machine right here. The liquid down there, that was in the overflow pan. It's going to convey because there's nematodes in it. And creedmoorfury has a hard time getting nematodes in this land because the people before creedmoorfury put a lot of poison in the land. So nematodes don't like to grow here without a little assistance. In this particular case, it's one organism, one species that I have to get this way. And you know what? Inside that pail over there, for some reason, they have no problem reproducing. But it takes time. They don't reproduce overnight. They got to have nutrients. They got to have a food source. So if they're fungal feeding, they got to have fungi. If they're bacteria feeding, they got to have bacteria. If they're predatory, they got to have something to predate upon. In that container is somewhat of a little ecosystem of sorts. And I just move it around from one grow to another. And here is where we regenerate it. You can regenerate it in a barrel, compost tumbler, you name it. And what does it mean to regenerate? I'm putting it all together, and then when I get ready to disperse it out, I'm going to use a soil that's in this container here to make up my my nutrient soils, the blends that go back into the air pots. So we can talk a little bit about that. It's a sort of subject that some people call super soil making. And what I like to do is I like to use a specific amount of this material to go into this machine where I mix some specific nutrients into it, full density, and then I actually make another blend of the same thing but half as many nutrients. So now I have 2 layers. As the plant's roots grow down into those, they get to varying degrees of fertility, where at the bottom, where the water is in the overflow pail, you have the most fertile soils with the most nutrients in them. We want the roots to want to grow down to the nutrient source, so it's like a carrot dangling in front of the donkey's head. They know if they can get down there by whatever means, they will. Help them. Find a fungi that symbiotes with your particular plant and add that too. Add it early, add it mid, and add it late. Because even if you add it too late, it could still form some mycorrhizal relationships in the soil and the roots, and they may be mocked by the giant pileated woodpecker. Or they might actually establish themselves. And if your turnover is very fast, my turnover is fast because I have 3 more days where I can drop seeds in my region, and I need to make this stuff up quick, and it's going to get potted up, and it's going back to work. We don't like to spend lots amount of time without things growing in the soils. Anyway, there you have it. You know, hopefully some of that makes sense. You know, I'm just sharing some of what I learned, some of why I learned what I learned, and I think it can help you too if you understand that recycling and regenerating your soils can go a long way. As long as there's still carbon involved, you've got the carbon chains. As long as there's still life involved, you've got the soil food web connections to utilize, and that's what you want to do. So peace, God bless, and be well.